A lot of people are wondering why the big three American automakers, that being Ford, General Motors, and Fiat Chrysler, don't make full-size luxury sedans. And I think the reason is because pickup trucks have completely usurped them. Why would I need a full-size luxury sedan when for around the same money or less, a luxury pickup truck like this one is going to do the same job, only better? This is the 2020 Ram 1500 Limited Crew Cab, the most fully loaded of all of the Ram pickup trucks, and I think the most luxurious pickup truck on the market right now. Our truck has the black appearance package, although you probably noticed that because there's not an ounce of chrome, an ounce of silver, anything on this truck. It looks fantastic until it comes time to clean it or to take a photo of it. Really difficult, but we've got this big blacked out grille. We've got these cool scoops. We've also got the 1500 badge up top with an EcoDiesel, but more on that later. We've got these cool hooks down here at the bottom, and coming around the side, we've got these black lights. They're blacked out. That makes it look super aggressive. We've got the 22-inch wheels. That looks incredible as well in black, although they might hurt the ride a little bit. We'll check that out a little bit later. We've got that big black Ram badge here. When I open up the doors, we've got the power retractable running boards that are gonna close when I shut the door here. Around the back, we've got the RamBox out here. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later as well. And back here, all of the badges, the limited badge, the 4x4 badge, the Ram badge, even the exhausts, they're all blacked out as well. This is completely murder out. I think it's a cool looking truck, although maybe not the color I'd get if you want to keep it clean. Now the big story here is what's under the hood. This Ram 1500 is a diesel. So let's start off with the big story here, which is the 3.0 liter turbocharged V6 EcoDiesel engine underneath the hood. Now this wasn't available last year until very late in the model year, so for 2020 you are going to be able to get this diesel engine on pretty much any of the Ram 1500s. Now the numbers, 260 horsepower, that is way down compared to either the V6, the base engine, or the V8 5.7 liter Hemi. But what you do get is all of that good sweet diesel pulling power, the torque. It is 480 pound-feet of it, so that is by far the most that you're going to get on any of these Ram 1500 models. That means you're going to get really good towing capacity, 12,560 pounds of available towing on this diesel engine, which actually isn't the best. You are going to get a little bit more if you get the V8 engine with the mild hybrid e-torque system. You're also going to get 2,040 pounds of payload capacity, which again is really good, but I think the V6, because it's lighter, actually has greater payload capacity. The big reason why you're going to want to get this diesel engine, and it is an expensive option, it's a $4,995 engine, making it more than twice as expensive as the V8 mild hybrid upgrade. But the reason why you're going to want it is for fuel economy. So if you're driving one of these trucks long distances on a highway, you're probably going to want a limited trim, as we have here, because we've got all the bells and whistles. We'll check those out later, but this baby gets amazing fuel economy. If you get rear wheel drive, you're going to average 22 mpg in the city, 32 mpg on the highway, and 26 mpg combined. And if you get the optional 33-gallon tank, as I have on my tester, Ram says you're gonna do over 1,000 miles on a tank of gas. That'll get me from my apartment in Orlando, Florida to Houston, Texas on one tank of gas. That is absolutely crazy to think. So in this COVID-19 world we're currently living in, the less fuel stops you have to make, the better. And to go to Texas on one tank of gas, where luxury trucks like this are the official luxury vehicle of that state, sounds pretty good to me. Now we have 4-wheel drive on this truck, which is an optional extra. It's gonna hurt the fuel economy just a little bit. You're gonna get 21 mpg in the city, 29 mpg on the highway, and 24 mpg combined. So a little bit of a hit on all of those figures. When I first hopped into the truck, I I think it told me I had around a little under 800 miles of range. So, you know, I wasn't driving on the highway, so maybe it couldn't calculate that 1,000 number. And I do think that with the option of four-wheel drive, you're definitely not going to get that 1,000-mile marker. You're going to have to get the rear-wheel drive truck for that. But to drive, the last of these trucks that I drove was the V8 model without the e-torque system. I've never driven the base V6 unit, which all come with the mild hybrid assist, but this diesel engine is great. You know, old diesel trucks, they used to be loud and obnoxious and obtrusive into the cabin. This is none of those things. This Generation 3 EcoDiesel is so quiet. With the radio on, you can barely even tell that it's a diesel engine. You've just got gobs of torque. When I go to accelerate, I'm rarely exceeding 2,000 RPM for acceleration. It doesn't feel as quick to me as the V8 engine, but in terms of smooth, effortless passing power, it might actually be better. And in terms of driving experience, I love the Ram 1500. This is by far my favorite truck to drive on the market right now. It feels the most car-like out of any of them. The steering is super light, making this truck extremely easy to maneuver and park, although the 360-degree camera makes that even easier. And if even that's too hard for you, I've got a little button here. This truck will parallel park itself. Yes, I've tried it. This massive, huge vehicle will get into a parallel spot without you even putting your hands on the wheel, which is kind of crazy to think about. We've got the Limited, which means we have 4-corner air suspension. You can raise it, you can lower it down into an entry and exit level to make it easier to get in and out of. We've got little side steps that even make it easier to get in and out of. And the air suspension makes this truck ride beautifully. In fact, I think this Ram is so comfortable, we need to throw away the term rides like a truck because it just doesn't apply here. This rides like a car. Now, because we have the black package that makes this truck look so aggressive, we've got those 22-inch wheels, and I think the added weight of the diesel engine is affecting the ride as well. So this particular model doesn't feel quite as comfortable when I get onto super bumpy roads as the last 1500 that I drove, which was a V8 and only had 20-inch wheels. But regardless of how it's optioned, the Ram is just an amazing truck to drive. If you like that old school big truck, lackadaisical steering feel, this might not be for you. This is a little bit more catered to the person who's never driven a truck before, maybe somebody who's just getting into their first truck, because this thing is easy as pie to drive. And it's also catered to somebody who's going to spend a lot of time in the cabin. This Limited model that we have is beautiful on the inside, which is why I'm going to pull over and check out the interior. All right, so now that we've pulled over, let's go ahead and check out the interior of this fully loaded Ram Limited crew cab. That means we've got the 4-door model. So because we have the Limited, we have this nice wood trim around the steering wheel. I don't think it's real wood, but it definitely feels like it almost could be. Better than what you see in a lot of actual luxury vehicles right now, and everything, and I do mean everything, is covered in leather. This whole dashboard is leather, so it just gives you this super quality feel. We've even got the 19-speaker Harman Kardon stereo, which I promise you, this stereo would not be out of place in most luxury vehicles. It's just that nice in this cabin. We've got these really cool trucky gauges. You've got this really big center screen with very truck-centric iconography. You've got this really cool range meter that kind of is a bar that goes down as you use gas, which is really cool. Heated steering wheel, of course, heated and ventilated seats in the front and the back. And the piece de resistance is this 12.3-inch Uconnect touchscreen. Outside of Tesla, this is the biggest screen in the business. There are other car companies that offer big screens, Subaru, Toyota, but I don't think anybody does touchscreens as well as FCA right now. This is super responsive. The graphics are great. If I pull up the map quality is absolutely outstanding as well. I can go up and pull up the nav here. Just look at the water. I'm gonna scroll over to a lake here. You get this kind of water image. Now, I don't know how well this is gonna age, but at least right now, this looks absolutely fantastic. Searching for address is extremely easy because I can just voice command Starbucks and it'll take me there. I don't need to parcel it out. This Uconnect system is the best infotainment screen you're gonna see anywhere. We also have our toggle switches down here. They control things like the front and rear parking sensors. This is the air suspension button. So if I push that down, I can go into my lowered position to make it easier to get in and out of the vehicle. I can raise it all the way up if I'm gonna ever go off-road and I'm worried about scraping. We've got our rotating shifter here, which some people have complained about because it's close to the volume knob. I think if you get those two confused, maybe you shouldn't have a driver's license. But if I put it in reverse, I'm gonna get a wonderful 360-degree camera. I maybe wish it took up the whole screen, but then I guess they'd have to stretch it, so maybe that wouldn't work out too well. And I can also change my rear views. I have all these different angles. I can look at the front bumper. I even have a camera mounted above the tailgate, so I get this downward facing angle. So look, that's my rear bumper. I can back this up. I live in an apartment complex, so I kind of need to back up as far as possible. I can back the bumper up right until the very edge to make sure I don't hit it. So love the camera systems, love everything else about this cabin. And the storage, unbelievable. We've got a charger up here with some storage. This is our center console, amazing amount of storage here. We've got the wood trim here as well. So we've got this big armrest that lifts up. You have a little bit of storage here with a USB port in it. And then if I lift that up yet again, I've got this much deeper amount of storage. We've got our little tan, cosine, sine graphs here on the little Easter egg here. This can slide, this center console can, and I have even more room down here, so it's kind of like a split between them. Over here, I have a wireless charger. You stick your phone in there and it'll wirelessly charge. But if you don't have wireless charging capability, you've got two USBs, two USB-Cs, and an aux jack. There's just a million ways to charge up your devices. I have another 115 volt outlet down here as well. So you can have an army of people with an army of iPhones and still keep them charged. And the reason why I think that this Ram truck is the official luxury vehicle of America right now is in the back seat. So let's go ahead and check that out. You may think I'm crazy for thinking that a pickup truck could ever replace a European luxury sedan, but in Texas, this is the official luxury vehicle. I mean, look at this. I've got over 45 inches of rear legroom. That's a number you will not hear me mention on a sedan. Not only that, in most pickup trucks, you have to sit very upright against the firewall, but here I can slide the seats back so I can be a lot more comfortable over long distances. I can also lift the seats up so I can have huge amounts of storage here, as well as hidden storage underneath the seat. Not only that, but these seats are heated and ventilated. You'd probably have to spend over 6 figures to get that from a European luxury car. And I've got 4 USB ports and another 115 volt outlet, so everybody back here is going to be able to charge up their devices. Not only that, I've got this big glass roof that extends all the way back, and unlike those European luxury sedans, which only have a tiny whittle trunk, this has a bed. Back here, we've got the 5'7" bed, but you can also get a 6'4" bed. We've also got the power operated tailgate. Just click it twice on the remote and this is going to drop down. It's nicely dampened as well. We've also got a little divider in the back, so if you don't have any huge items back there, you can pull this towards the back of the truck. Basically gives you almost like a tiny trunk. That's going to be useful for somebody like me that doesn't really have the use for a full-size bed. Now, you may have also noticed we've also got a crease here in the tailgate. No, it's not broken. That's part of Ram's multi-function tailgate. So now if I use this trigger to open up the tailgate, it's going to open up sideways. And your first question might be, why would I want to open it up sideways? Well, basically that's going to allow you to get closer to the bed. And trust me, having this much distance between you and the bed makes it more difficult for loading and unloading. So this is going to alleviate that. And I also have a second trigger here that's going to open up this side. So now I have all this room to get into my bed. And the other option that we have on this Ram 1500 is the RamBox. This has been around for a little while, but it's still a cool option. You push this little button, it's gonna open up these little storage compartments on the side. Perfect if you've got a gun rack, or you can put ice in there. There's even a drain that'll let you unload all the water once the ice melts, making this the perfect tailgate vehicle. It also comes with a nice key that you can lock it with, making sure nobody can have access to your gun or your ice. So that was the 2020 Ram 1500 Limited Crew Cab EcoDiesel. Now, the EcoDiesel is an interesting decision you're going to have to make, because if you're doing a lot of highway miles on it, I think it might be the engine to get, but it is going to take between 6 and 7 years with the cost of diesel to pay off that $5,000 premium. So that's some math you're gonna have to do in your head, but I do like the way the diesel engine drives, although I still think personally, I'd probably get the V8 engine. Now, the Limited, again, is my favorite luxury truck on the market. This thing has the best cabin, and I love the way the Ram 1500 drives. Reliability might be a question mark, but I can't really comment since I only got to drive the car for a week, which is why the 2020 Ram 1500 Limited is going to get a CarBuzz score of must buy. In a world where luxury vehicles rule the roost in the pickup truck market, I think the Ram is tops amongst them all. I hope you've enjoyed this video. See you next time.